Right now, 11 minutes of non-stop local news, your Weather Authority forecast, and SWX Sports. This is NBC Right Now Local News, 11 at 11.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight for the News at 11 Quarantine Edition. I'm Scott Daniels in my living room in Richland tonight. It was a cold yet sunny day today. Let's toss things back into the studio with Stacy Lee for the first look at our weather forecast.
It's definitely an extra blanket kind of a night, or heated blanket, whichever you prefer. Chilly out there in our entire region, sitting just at freezing or below freezing tonight. And those temperatures will continue to drop as we move through the evening. We did enjoy sunshine, and guess what? You're going to enjoy some more sunshine tomorrow as we step into the second day of December. Low clouds and fog are the big weather maker for the rest of the week. Air stagnation, that advisory is kicked in starting at 10 o'clock tonight all the way through Saturday at 10 a.m. We'll tell you where that is going to affect. Colder temperatures, as you can feel right now, and those are going to persist for the next few days as well. No rain or snow in the foreseeable future. We'll get to all these details coming up with your full weather forecast. Back to you, Scott.
Interesting forecast. Looking forward to that. Thank you, Stacy. Well, the pandemic has caused a much of a different lifestyle day to day. It has caused a lot of food insecurity for many people. Stephanie Muniz reached out to Northwest Harvest to talk about what kind of impacts they're facing this holiday season. Take a look.
Before the pandemic started, 1 in every 8 people struggled with hunger in our state.
And now during the pandemic, it is showing that 1 in 4 Washingtonians are struggling to pay for their usual household expenses, which could also include providing food for their families and themselves.
Northwest Harvest partners with 375 food banks and meal programs. Over 50 of those are in Yakima County alone.
Regardless of what the situation is, we want to make sure that we are providing access to nutritious food to individuals, to families, to kids, to anyone who needs that extra help to put food on their table.
According to Northwest Harvest, the number of people who are food insecure has almost tripled since the pandemic started. That number went from 800,000 struggling Washingtonians to 2.2 million.
The most important thing is that that's what we're here for. We are here to provide access to anyone who needs it.
Because of the growing need, Northwest Harvest has spent more money within the last 6 months than what was spent in the last 4 years combined. Gonzalez says regardless if it's the first time someone seeks help with food or a number of times, no one should go without.
We believe that food is a basic human right. It is something that everyone needs to get through their days.
In Yakima, Stephanie Muniz, NBC Right Now.
This year, because of the pandemic, our food drive is going to look a lot different. This Saturday morning, we are hosting a food drive telethon with all the proceeds going to Northwest Harvest. So make sure you join us on Wake Up Northwest this Saturday, starting at 7 a.m. bright and early with Monty and Madeline. They're coming in on Saturday and will help fill that need right here in our community. In other news now, in a safety alert, the Adams County Sheriff's Office needs your help finding a wanted man. They're looking for 26-year-old Fabian Garza Garcia. You can see him here on your screen. Police believe he was part of a domestic violence assault, felony harassment, and that he violated a restraining order. Garza Garcia is considered armed and dangerous, so if you see him, don't approach him and call 911. Well, if you're shopping online and worried about any potential porch pirates, or you just want to know what's going on in your neighborhood, Richland Police have put together a police community page, a police group that you can join. Here's Veronica Barriga with the story.
The program CAP, Community and Police, puts you in touch with the Richland Police Department and your neighbors. Think of this as a digital neighborhood watch. I spoke with the department about how it works. The Crime Prevention Department for the Richland Police wants to work with residents to keep neighborhoods safe. A program called CAP, Community and Police, is making this possible.
It has been beneficial to us and the community because we're able to correspond with them, answer questions, share information.
Peck says it's all done through 8 different Facebook groups created by the department, and each group is divided into a district depending on where you live. One of CAP's goals is to give residents the opportunity to meet officers who patrol their area. Right now with COVID-19, that is being done virtually. However, the program continues to take on a life of its own.
We see lots of, missing pets, or we've seen people say that they've gotten a package that doesn't belong to them. We do have people that discuss, seeing somebody in the neighborhood and calling it into non-emergency, and there's discussions about code violations. There's also just great community conversations. At times I've seen people say, hey, I have extra vegetables, or hey, I have this available. Does anybody want it?
Peck also says while the main purpose of the group is crime prevention, it's nice to see community engagement. So far, CAP has over 3,000 members. To join, we have a link to the program on NBCRightNow.com. Veronica Briga, NBC Right Now.
Speaking of being online, there's a new app that's being discussed. It's Washington's COVID-19 exposure notification app. It's called WA Notify. It's an anonymous exposure notification app that'll let you know if you've been around someone who has COVID-19. And there's been a lot of questions raised about it. WA Notify does not share or store any of your personal information. It does not track your location. It does not share who tests positive or who is contacted if you test positive. The app also does not share your personal information with developers or the Department of Health.
We think an exposure notification tool that preserves our privacy is a great complement to traditional contact tracing. But exposure notification is something very different. The app does not track or trace information about who you are in contact with or where you came in contact with the other individual. That information remains anonymous.
People who use iPhones can enable the exposure notifications feature that's already in their phone's settings. For people with Android phones, you can download the free app. A new COVID-19 community testing site opened in Sunnyside. It will open Sunday. It's free drive-through testing for anyone, regardless of insurance status. It'll be open every day except Fridays and Saturdays. The site will be located at 1521 South 1st Street in Sunnyside. Visitors will be required to wear masks and stay in their cars while at the site. Results will be available within 2 to 3 days of getting tested. Across America now, healthcare workers and those in long-term care facilities are expected to be the first ones with access to the COVID-19 vaccine. The CDC has decided that these groups will be the first to receive an approved COVID-19 vaccine. That vote passed 13-1. Pfizer was the first to seek emergency use authorization from the FDA for its vaccine. They say has proved more than 90% efficiency in trials. And Moderna has also applied for EUA for its vaccine that they claim has 95% efficiency. And more news across America tonight. President-elect Joe Biden introducing his economic team today as lawmakers on Capitol Hill remain deadlocked over a COVID-19 aid package. Here's Alice Barr with the latest.
President-elect Joe Biden formally introducing nominees for his economic team today, who, if confirmed, face the daunting task of guiding the battered U.S. economy back on track.
The team I'm announcing today will play a critical role in shaping our plan for action starting on day one.
Biden choosing Janet Yellen for Treasury Secretary. She would be the first woman in that job, and as a former Federal Reserve chair, no stranger to economic crises. The president-elect promising to focus on American families struggling to put food on the table, with COVID cases on the rise and businesses again shutting down.
Our message to everybody struggling right now is this: help is on the way.
After months of stalemate, signs of progress over a new COVID relief bill. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi speaking with Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin for the first time in weeks, while on Capitol Hill, a bipartisan group of senators introduced a $908 billion compromise.
In a crisis, the people expect Congress to act.
But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell favors spending less on targeted relief that he believes President Trump will approve and sign into law.
We just don't have time to waste time.
Meanwhile, U.S. Attorney General William Barr undercutting President Trump's efforts to reverse President-elect Biden's victory. Barr telling the Associated Press that the Justice Department has not uncovered evidence of widespread voter fraud that would change the outcome of the election. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Back here for local news, looking ahead, Pasco Parks and Rec is putting on Winterfest 2020, which kicks off December 5th with a virtual tree lighting. And there are also several do-it-yourself activities available through Parks and Rec. You can learn to make Christmas ornaments and holiday slime kits. There is a scavenger hunt for big candy canes and a kids coloring contest for treats at Dairy Queen. There will also be a drive-through Wave to Santa event.
It's completely different from past years, just because of all the regulations and guidelines and stuff, of course. So we just did a brainstorm of what can we do with under current regulations and guidelines to be able to still put something out there for people to enjoy this holiday season for what we call Winterfest.
Pasco Parks and Rec is putting on these holiday events to help give people fun things to do and stay engaged in the community. There's still time to sign up to do those crafts we talked about. You can learn more about Winterfest 2020 on our website, NBCRightNow.com. And how about this? A Walla Walla High School intervention specialist will be raising the 12th man flag virtually next Sunday against the New York Giants. The Seattle Seahawks wanted to honor Melito Ramirez after he was named this year's Employee of the Year. Ramirez will raise the flag tomorrow, and the footage will be aired live before the game. Ramirez has worked for the school district for the past 12 years, helping families and students. He's also competing for an award by the U.S. Department of Education. Oh, they're going to win for him, I just know it. So that's your first 11 minutes of news and weather. Coming up, we have Stacy Lee with the full weather forecast. Don't go anywhere.